Today is Saturday, February the 10th, 2018. Hello, and welcome to Weekly Astrology Notes for the week of February 11th through the 18th, 2018. Weekly summary. Well, we're in for a fun ride again this week. Lots of exciting aspects to go along with all of the holidays we're having this week. On Tuesday, which is Mardi Gras, we got Sun sextile Uranus and Mercury square Jupiter. Should make Mardi Gras festivities loud and interesting. Lots of fun. All that positive energy carries through Thursday. And on Wednesday, we've got Valentine's Day, sitting right in the middle of all of these wonderful aspects. And with the moon in Aquarius, it should be a great Valentine's Day. And Thursday is the best of all this week. We've got the new moon, Mercury sextile Uranus, and Venus sextile Saturn. So we've got some wonderful energies to go along with the new moon in Aquarius this month, and there's lots to discuss about that. And then Friday evening, the Chinese New Year, Year of the Dog. We have an interesting mix of aspects. Mercury square Neptune and Sun conjunct Mercury in Aquarius. So the Chinese New Year festivities will be a very busy night. Lots of action and transactions. Also an excellent night for dancing. These two aspects happen early Saturday morning and are most in effect on Friday evening during the festivities. And then at the end of the video, transits for James Comey. And people with transits concurrent with the Mars square Neptune aspect happening early Saturday morning. And that includes Huma Abedin, Senator Charles Schumer, Recep Erdogan, and the Federal Reserve. Okay, so let's get started with Sunday, February the 11th. We've got moon in Capricorn, makes it a calm, traditional day, time to attend to important matters. Especially early in the morning on Sunday, it's rather slow and cold with moon conjunct Saturn in Capricorn. Time for therapy and introspection, not outgoing, need to attend to important matters. Strong need to restructure ourselves. Follow the advice of the squirrel who says, what you sow is what you reap. Take care in choosing the seeds you are planting. So that's just kind of going along with the Venus in Pisces, and actually this week we've got the Sun and Mercury entering Pisces as well. So we're opening up to the mystical side of ourselves these days. And then on Sunday evening, we've got the moon sextile Neptune. Speaking of the mystical side of yourselves, Neptune brings that energy in. It's a wonderful aspect to finish the day. Dreamy and sensitive, helps to reflect at the end of the week. And then moving into Monday, February the 12th, moon in Capricorn makes it a quiet Monday with a light diversion in the afternoon. So late morning, we've got the moon conjunct Pluto. Intense emotions just beneath the surface, looking towards a new base emotional state for yourself. Folks are reserved, not talking much, both from the Pluto and from Capricorn. And then in the early afternoon, we have a light diversion with moon sextile Jupiter. Much more open, easygoing, pleasant disposition on Monday afternoon. And then Monday evening, moon square Uranus. Disruptions and distractions late on Monday evening. Hard to focus on what's important. Void, of course, begins and lasts until early Tuesday morning. When the moon enters Aquarius, more innovative and unconventional for the next couple of days. It's an exciting pass of moon in Aquarius this time around, with lots of aspects. So the moon's going to help us enjoy the freedom and progressive changes coming, including the new moon on Thursday, encouraging us to get out of the house, get involved in community affairs. Because Tuesday, which is Mardi Gras, we've got Mercury square Jupiter and Sun sextile Uranus. So if you don't come up with some new ideas today, this is so mentally stimulating. Seriously, if you don't come up with some new ideas, check your pulse or maybe see an astrologer. It's a fantastic day, lots of mental activity, enlightening, uninhibited, boisterous, mental breakthroughs today. So we start in the early afternoon with the Mercury square Jupiter, and that will be 22 degrees of Aquarius to 22 degrees of Scorpio. Big ideas, those are the key words with this aspect. But you need to figure out which ones are worthwhile and which ones are just a bunch of over-exuberance. Lots of mental activity, overflowing with ideas. Aspect really goes well with the other one we're having, Sun sextile Uranus. Optimistic, positive outlook. You can connect the dots and see the big picture. Now there is a negative side to this aspect, pompous and professorial. I mean, after all, Jupiter is associated with Sagittarius, which rules higher education. And on the negative side, you can get this professorial tone. Just remember, you're not the only one in the room with a higher education. Jupiter pumps up the volume of your voice, makes us louder than usual. With this and the next aspect, intellectual snobbery is quite possible. So be on the lookout for that. Discernment is not at its best now. We tend to overlook important details, or think we know better, or have license to break the rules. But I prefer to see the good side of this combination, which is the potential for mental breakthroughs. Jupiter forgives, and it really expands the mind. And Uranus activates the higher mind, enabling you to travel far distances in your mind and, overcome limitations and blockages, giving you a glimpse of greater possibilities. Very inspiring. You may want to keep a notepad handy today to write down all of your ideas. And then in the early evening, Sun sextile Uranus. So that will be 25 degrees of Aquarius to 25 degrees of Aries. So last Tuesday, we had the Venus sextile Uranus, and exactly 1 week later, the second of 3 sextiles to Uranus, all of which enable us to take some untapped or underutilized elements of our Aquarian nature and reclaim them. Bring them across the threshold from one cycle to the next, which is 0 degrees Aries, and bring them forth into the next cycle of growth, reinvigorating our Aquarian nature. We are more intelligent, creative, and adaptive, looking towards a brighter future, making and rekindling friendships and associations that we plan to keep in the future. The general theme of these sextile aspects is universal love, because all of that freedom from Aquarius and Uranus, seeing and appreciating the intrinsic value of all people, able to appreciate a wider range of people, interested in the unusual, folks different than you, desire to make new friends and associates, people who could help you on the next step in your evolutionary process. Most of all, very creative, uninhibited expression of your talents. You can see why this is going to be such a great aspect for Mardi Gras. A good day to make art, music, or whatever you do to express the unique side of yourself. I mean, there couldn't be a more perfect aspect for that kind of festivity. So, not interested in stuffy tradition, looking for something new, very independent-minded, seeking new modes of expression, love of freedom, and refuse to be controlled by others. It's also going to bring more psychic abilities, better able to intuit what motivates others, able to overcome inhibitions, see yourself free from the past. Could be a day of surprises, surprise encounters, meeting new people who could change your life, open you up to new experiences, able to reclaim your youthfulness, because Uranus is often associated with that youthfulness and freedom and independence. And again, with Aquarius in there, there's just a lot of that youthfulness coming out. Good time to get in touch with your inner child and play. Once again, it's important to play this week. Get out and have some fun. Liberate yourself. Should make the festivities at Mardi Gras excellent. Okay, moving along to Wednesday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Moon in Aquarius lets our love flow freely. Just one moon aspect today, and it's a good one. The exciting energy lasts Tuesday through Thursday should make for a wonderful Valentine's Day. And that one aspect is early in the morning on Wednesday, Moon sextile Mars. Energetic, mentally sharp. Seize the opportunity to do something surprising. Maybe surprise your lover in the morning. And I think I should mention that tomorrow we have Venus sextile Saturn, and that's the closest Venus aspect to Valentine's Day. And that means things should go smoothly. Folks enjoy keeping up with the tradition of the holiday. And just more dependable. Okay, so moving along to Thursday, the 15th. Much like Tuesday, an enlightening day. Now we've got Mercury sextile Uranus, the third of 3 sextiles to Uranus. It brings brilliant ideas, lots of mental activity. And Venus sextile Saturn has things running smoothly today. And the new moon brings the start of an exciting month ahead. So we start early in the morning on Thursday. Moon square Jupiter. Emotions expand, feeling generous, but with poor financial judgment. And then in the morning we've got Mercury sextile Uranus. And that'll be 25 degrees of Aquarius to 25 degrees of Aries. Very enlightening aspect. Sure to have lots of brilliant ideas today. Actually all week long. New methods to overcome old problems. New ways to adapt and move on to better circumstances. Overcome inhibitions and mental blockages and reclaim untapped mental resources. And especially I want to emphasize that new methods to overcome old problems. It's a real problem-solving kind of aspect. And much like Tuesday with the Sun sextile Uranus, we're more psychic, better able to intuit what others are thinking, mentally active, very curious, interested in the unusual or anything outside of the norm. No time for insecurities, which suddenly seem like a thing of the past. You may feel like, oh yeah, I used to worry about that, but now I don't. It's like suddenly you find you've got something more interesting to follow. Able to reclaim your youthfulness once again this week. And remember how you used to think when you were young and reclaim that. Interested in science and new technologies, ways to evolve and modernize your thinking. And solve problems. Come to terms with others. Good time to get in touch with your inner child and play. Once again, it's important to play this week. Get out and have some fun. Liberate yourself. And part of this gathering of Aquarius sextile, planets in Aquarius sextiling Uranus, very important moment to bring forth changes you've been working on now so that they can continue into the next cycle. I've been talking about this last couple of weeks with the sextiles. So bring forth those changes that you've been working on now, this week. Don't be shy. In this way, they'll be sure to continue into the next cycle. Also with this aspect, democratic and egalitarian. Politically open-minded, able to appreciate with people with different opinions. New alliances are formed this week. The survivors of the political battles come together to put forth useful ideas. Very community-oriented. Helps you connect with your tribe. Okay, so now also in the morning on Thursday, we've got Moon sextile Uranus. Well, isn't that so nice the way the moon comes in to join the fun? Once again, not interested in duty and responsibility. Prefer to liberate yourself. Good time for social gatherings. And the moon conjunct Mercury also in the morning. Very good energy on Thursday morning with the moon. Very instinctual moment. Conscious mind overcomes subconscious patterning to liberate yourself from mental blockages. So wonderful to have that right around the new moon, which is going to be at moon conjunct sun at 27 degrees 8 minutes of Aquarius. And that'll be in the early afternoon on Thursday. What a wonderful new moon it is. All of these wonderful aspects we are having today set the tone for the coming month. It's all about liberating yourself, Aquarius energy. We let go of past conditioning and stagnant behavior patterns that hold us back. Release the untapped Aquarian energy within you and move into the next growth cycle. A lot of growth this month, lots of changes, independent thinking and doing, expressing the unique side of yourself. It's a good month for diplomacy, and this is another time where I kind of put one little paragraph right in the middle, a small one, to emphasize the best thing of this combination, which is it's an excellent month for diplomacy, airing and resolving your differences with others. I mean, all of these aspects, Venus sextile Saturn is very good for diplomacy, as well as these sextiles to Uranus, which help us get over the past, let go of it, and see new ways of doing things. So that's the real gem this month. It'll be much easier to come to terms with your open enemies. So you can put that one in the bank. Okay, we are bringing things to light this month. So it's time to air out your differences with others. Both sides see new way of seeing old problems and want to move into something new. Excellent time to get involved in community affairs. Solve problems for yourself and for the community. No one wants to feel stuck in the past this month. Everyone wants to move forward. New ideas, more enlightenment, and some surprises along the way. Sometimes when we make changes, it causes disruptions, but the concurrent Venus sextile Saturn means things run smoothly. We're more reasonable with others and willing to negotiate, willing to make a long-term commitment. So even though we're liberating ourselves, we are methodical in our approach and have good relations with authority figures. Also encourages us to help others who deserve help. Venus in Pisces, sextile Saturn in Capricorn. That's the sextile of philanthropy from Capricorn to Pisces. And it's an important part of this month's growth as the community-oriented spirit of Aquarius, which sees us all as equals. You know, brotherly love. It just loves to put the people with the money and success together with the people who need it the most. And moving into the Venus sextile Saturn, that will be at 6 degrees of Pisces to 6 degrees of Capricorn, happening in the afternoon on Thursday. Today our relationships go more smoothly. Things that you have done well in the past with respect to relationships come back to you in a positive way. You know, Saturn is the Lord of Karma, bringing a reward, which usually turns out to be things just running smoothly, no problems. Everyone's able to take care of themselves. We're more calm, reasonable, and balanced with one another. Excellent aspect for diplomacy, resolving your differences, just like the previous. We're more willing to attend to responsibility of relating and staying true to our commitments, more honest and dependable. This aspect reveals some general quality of your relationships. Something will come to you today that reveals what the quality of your relationships is. And today we are looking for success. We dress for it, follow traditional modes of behavior so as to find success. You know, we don't want to cause any disruptions. We warm up to it. But the desire to get ahead is also not without the desire to help others. Like I mentioned, this is about philanthropy. So we really need to reach out to others. This aspect helps us do that in the right way without giving too much or to the wrong person and thereby draining your resources. It's the people who deserve it. In general, sextiles and trines to Saturn are with other, and this is a note you can have for your own chart and looking at other people's charts. The aspects, sextiles and trines to Saturn, are what other people would say they like about you, because those are the reasonable, dependable elements of your character that flow from you naturally, without hesitation. So we're more willing to show the honorable, trustworthy side of ourselves. Looking for an opportunity to build something meant to last, make a solid commitment with another person. It's a great aspect to start a relationship, and existing ones go smoothly. Very nice that we're having this right around Valentine's Day. I think that this Venus sextile Saturn is certainly in effect the day before as well. And then the moon goes void of course until later this evening, right after the new moon. I should have mentioned that a little bit earlier. The new moon starts in the early afternoon, and then we have a void of course until the early evening when the moon enters Pisces. Emotions dissolve into the collective, and we become more open to the subtle impressions around us for the next couple of days. The moon, the subconscious mind swims in the collective unconscious. So we dive into the mystical side of ourselves when the moon goes into Pisces. And we've got a really strong dose of Pisces energy with this moon in Pisces passage. And that's coming from the Mars square Neptune and Mercury entering Pisces as well. So at some point this weekend, take the time to find sanctuary where you can overcome confusion and doubt. Moving along to Friday, February 16th, Chinese New Year, Year of the Dog. The morning runs smoothly. Friday evening, though, we got a confusing mix of energy. The need to release and drain a lot of energy from Mars square Neptune. But the Sun conjunct Mercury is going to liven things up a bit, make folks very talkative and desire community. The result is a very busy night, lots of action and transactions. We start on Friday morning with the moon sextile Saturn. Life runs smoothly as we keep our obligations. And then the very pleasant moon conjunct Venus, also on Friday morning. Dreamy, idealistic, and a bit delusional. It's in Pisces. Prone to fantasy, easily hurt by others, and in need of sanctuary. The boundary around you dissolves. But we're more psychic, intuitive. It's a good time to commune with animal spirits, especially with all this Pisces energy going on nowadays. A good time for meditation to help you deal with the feeling of being in a cloud. But then in the early evening, we've got a kind of a contrast. Moon square Mars makes folks impulsive and not aware of it, poor judgment, demanding, and self-indulgent. And then shortly thereafter, though, in contrast, the moon conjunct Neptune, cosmic poke at your belly button, very sympathetic and understanding. It's going to be very good for being in a crowd. Although it is kind of confusing and brings low energy, you can easily delude yourself. Nonetheless, that boundary around you dissolves, so this might actually turn out to be a really good crowd aspect for the Chinese New Year celebration, which happens on Friday evening. And the aspects on early Saturday morning really go more for Friday evening because they're early Saturday and they're more in effect. So let's just go forward to Saturday morning's aspects with the Mars square Neptune. This one will be 13 degrees of Sagittarius to 13 degrees of Pisces. Aspect makes you want to confront what you don't know or cannot see. And that often involves confrontations with others. So when you see something that you don't understand, something that's hidden, Neptunian, instead of acting with curiosity, the reaction is with Mars, to confront. Now the good side of this aspect is you're willing to sacrifice yourself for another. But the ego seems to expand as it dissolves in a series of quick bursts of energy. You know, it's like putting a drop of dye in clear water. The dye seems to expand and get bigger and bigger until it fills the entire glass, but it's dissolving the whole time. So you feel this need to release and drain a lot of energy. It brings a lot of activity, desire to move your body in all directions. That's why I say it's good for dancing. But it also brings confusion and self-doubt, discouraged by circumstances beyond your control, enough so that you may feel tempted to take a devious course of action. That's the negative side of Pisces. It only makes matters worse. Now, as a transit, this aspect is a low physical energy because it's Neptune, which kind of drains your energy, and it's Mars. So there's a contrast with the Sun conjunct Mercury, which is a very active aspect. So my insight is that this combination is going to produce a flurry of confusing activity. But again, it's good for dancing. So I'm guessing the Chinese New Year celebrations are going to be fun, but the energy is going to probably quickly dissipate and most folks will have a hard time getting out of bed on Saturday morning. The interesting thing about the Mars square Neptune is that it's Sagittarius to Pisces, and Sagittarius expands and Neptune has no boundaries. So despite being low energy, it does bring a lot of idealism and some restlessness. It's because we're experiencing a crisis to overcome limitations as to what we're able to see. And that's the square from Sagittarius to Pisces. It sits at the doorway of the fourth quadrant and contains the learning lesson necessary to be successful in the fourth quadrant, which is, you haven't seen everything, so sometimes you need to go forward on faith. And usually that requires some form of spiritual faith. So this aspect increases our interest in religion and spirituality. Nonetheless, with Mars involved, it's harder to cross that threshold and take that leap of faith, because your ego needs to dissolve. So folks can come off as loud, arrogant, indulgent, or unhinged. And it also brings up religious and philosophical beliefs to the extreme. It could cause disagreements, and people with really dogmatic beliefs find it hard to deal with this kind of energy. The tendency is to seek escape with intoxicants, drugs, and alcohol, which unfortunately have a stronger than usual effect with this aspect, and so excessive behavior should be avoided. Got very poor judgment, very delusional. Don't come to any conclusions now, or sign any contracts, or make any final decisions. Wait till this one's over. But the best part about it is the desire to help the disadvantaged. That would be a good outlet. Lawyers of lost causes have this type of aspect in their chart, and so does the USA, which unfortunately creates a lot of problems for the USA. Causes the U.S. military to think it's the savior of the world. But in contrast, Robin Williams had this aspect in his chart, and it was the source of his abundant compassion for others. So that just kind of shows you the range of expression you can get with this aspect. And then moving along to the Sun conjunct Mercury. Now this one happens, I should mention, it's going to be right at the very end of Aquarius. It'll be like 29 degrees exactly of Aquarius. So this one happens a few times each year as Mercury goes retrograde, and it should alleviate some of the negative traits of the previous aspect. It's always a good one. It brings the light of the sun into the conscious mind. We're more talkative, intelligent, opinionated, and curious. It's a good day for communication. Our creative energy is very active and changeable. We move easily from one thing to the next without much hesitation, able to do two things at once. Mercury rules Gemini. It's good for juggling. Folks have lots of bright ideas, and the inner child, once again, within us comes out to play. In Aquarius, this aspect is a perfect time for a gathering of friends, just like the Chinese New Year. With this aspect, we need to talk to others, share ideas, develop communal bonds. Any creative effort using your hands is a good outlet for this energy. Short distance travel is favored as well. A flurry of activity, lots of travel, mercurial things, one thing to the next. Lots of actions and transactions, good for business. So that gives you a feel for that. And then moving on to the moon aspects for Saturday in the morning, we've got the moon sextile Pluto. Disruptions bring a change for the better. And then the always enjoyable moon trine Jupiter on Saturday afternoon. Always brings a pleasant disposition, a great party aspect. And this one is psychologically very powerful because it's that trine from Scorpio to Pisces. So it's powerful if you decide to harness the energy. It gives you the ability to heal a psychological wound and reclaim a lost part of yourself. And then a void, of course, starts in the afternoon on Saturday, and it's going to continue all the way until Sunday morning. So not a time to start new projects on Saturday afternoon. And then on Saturday evening, Mercury enters Pisces, and it'll be in that sign until March the 7th. So the large dose of Aquarius energy we've been getting lately transitions to Pisces energy. We need to put a little more effort into thinking clearly when this one arrives. So Mercury in Pisces is poetic, likes to daydream, escape into fantasy, more sensitive. This should help with artistic endeavors, just like the Venus in Pisces. Thoughts are based on impressions rather than specific facts. A little harder to speak and express yourself, as you may feel that you lack confidence in that area. Really, you're just feeling the need to reflect on your thoughts. Creative activity really helps overcome any inhibitions you feel. Journal writing is particularly helpful during this time. Unconditional, that's Pisces, or freely writing, that's Mercury, will give you access to your subconscious mind and helps to uncover hidden qualities. Sunday, the 18th, the void, of course, that began on Saturday afternoon ends early Sunday morning when the moon enters Aries. We're more energetic and headstrong for the next couple of days. Courageous and ambitious. A good time to start new projects. You know, the moon in Aries is good at taking care of themselves first, but that's an essential part of living a successful life. They just need to put some effort into showing consideration for the feelings of others. And then on Sunday morning, Sun enters Pisces. So happy birthday to all those Pisces out there. Now we've got 3 planets in Pisces. Time to dive into the mystical side of yourself, looking for our connection to the collective, also our direct divine connection, like our connection to God. So we're more psychic, intuitive, able to tune into the subtle vibrations around us, like your guardian angels or spirit guides, able to contend with things you don't see, a deeper connection to animals, creative imagination, fantasy. Pisces is unconditional love, the kind we need to find our place in the grand scheme of things. Without that, we develop trust issues. So this month, we must practice forgiveness towards those who give you, or in the past, gave you something less than unconditional love. This enables you to have the trust necessary to face the unknown, what you cannot see, and that's Pisces. As we go through this month, as your creative energy dissolves, you may feel disappointed and in frustration try to do something underhanded. That's the dark side of Pisces. But if you force yourself to be artistic and nuanced, if you sacrifice the ego willingly, you develop self-mastery. After all, Pisces is the last sign in the zodiac to where we completely develop ourselves, or we find who we are completely in this world, and where we have self-mastery. Since we have the Mars square Neptune and Sun enters Pisces this weekend, it's a good time to consider the advice of someone with a lot of Pisces energy, and that's David Bowie. This guy's got Mercury, Mars, and the Sun all in the 12th house, squaring Neptune. So he's got the Mars square Neptune, just like we're having this week as well. And I noticed in this guy's song, Let's Dance, the whole thing is just a big Pisces trip. Put on your red shoes and dance the blues. To get you where you're going, you go in the opposite direction. Well, that's Pisces. 2 fish swimming in opposite directions. To get upstream, you go downstream. When you're sad, you force yourself to get moving. It's the paradox of Pisces. Oftentimes, artists go through pain and angst. That's a lot of Neptune in order to produce and perform their art. The sacrifice that Neptune requires. And of course, Pisces rules the feet. So that's, another symbol for dancing in this song. And then he talks about sway through the crowd to an empty space. It's like feeling lost, meandering seemingly without direction, trying to find yourself. Well, that's Pisces as well. And then he says, if you say run, I'll run with you. Well, what's that? It's surrender, escapism. It's Pisces. If you say hide, we'll hide. Well, Pisces rules hidden things. Again, Pisces. Because my love for you would break my heart in two. Well, that's disappointment. Once again, that's Pisces. Uh, if you should fall into my arms and tremble like a flower. Once again, that's surrender and in need of unconditional love, being very sensitive. And once again, that's Pisces. This entire song is one big Pisces trip. And what remedy does David Bowie suggest to deal with all of this dissolving? Well, let's dance. The song gives us a helpful remedy, one which I often mention during these aspects, reminding us to just keep moving. If you can't go in the direction you want, you surrender your ego, and you just move in another direction. Sway through the crowd until you find your place in this world, in the grand scheme of things. The same goes for drumming. It has the same effect. And in this process, you learn so much about yourself. Because after all, the only way to learn about yourself is to be selfless. That's the lesson of Pisces. So that's a little exploration into Pisces. And at the end of the day on Sunday, we've got the moon square Pluto. Could bring some disruptions, I should say, in the late afternoon on Sunday. So that's it for this week's aspects. Moving on to interesting stories for the week, starting with James Comey. He's got the Mars square Pluto coming on the 9th, followed by Mars conjunct Mercury. You'll see here at 10 degrees of Sagittarius, and that'll be on the 12th. So what's going to happen is Mars activates his natal Mercury square Pluto. So this guy, he's very well versed in the law with this one, especially because it's Virgo to Sagittarius. So no doubt he's well aware of the power of his words. That's the Pluto and squaring the Mercury. It's going to be interesting to see his actions and his words about this time. Very aggressive, taking a threatening tone. His defiance for the law will be revealed this weekend. James week. See what kind of aggressive tone he takes. And now a few people who are going to give us some insight into the coming Mars square Neptune. Start with Huma Abedin. She's got this aspect in her natal chart. And on Tuesday, she gets Mars conjunct Neptune. That's sure to weaken her. And then quickly followed by Mars square Mars, which will leave her frustrated. She's just one of several people to watch this week related to the Mars square Neptune. Another one, I think even more importantly, is Charles Schumer, Democratic Senator from New York. You notice he's got Mercury natally at 13 degrees of Sagittarius. So he just recently had the last pass of Neptune square Mercury on Friday the 9th. And coming this week, he's going to get the Mars conjunct Mercury. But nonetheless, I think he's an important one to watch for this one because it's happening so close to his Mercury. He's one of the politicians who is very threatened by Trump and his actions to release this FISA memo. Like all of these people getting strong transits at the Mars square Neptune, he may get a burst of courage from Mars, because after all, it's going to conjunct his Mercury. He's going to want to say something, just like Comey. But the Neptune energy makes it impossible to see things clearly and drains him of energy. His behavior this coming weekend at the Mars square Neptune aspect will be an aggressive act that dissolves. I'm thinking possibly he makes a big mistake. So he's another one to watch. You know, we always look at these aspects to see how they make transits to major players, because that's how we often experience them on a collective level. And another one is a guy I've been watching for a long time, Recep Erdogan, leader of Turkey. Been waiting for this one. You'll notice he's got this very close conjunction of Mercury and Venus at 13 degrees of Pisces. So right on the very day, the 17th of Mars square Neptune, he gets Neptune conjunct Venus. See that exactly. And of course Mercury is so close, it's practically the same day as well. I'm thinking he's going to make a foolish decision as well. Not just for this, but soon Pluto is going to conjunct his south node. And Uranus is going to oppose his Neptune for the last time. So this guy, I mean, with all this Neptune stuff going on, both transiting Neptune and natal Neptune, this guy is really delusional. That's why I put delusional with a capital D there. And for sure, this guy is one to watch this coming weekend. And Federal Reserve, it wouldn't be right to forget about them, even though I've been talking about them a lot lately, because this week, on the 17th, on the day that we're getting Mars square Neptune, I mean, this couldn't be more fateful. They're getting their last pass of Neptune square Saturn. I mean, right on the money, too, on that day. So they also get Mars opposition Saturn. So for sure, these guys are one of the manifestations for all of us and how we experience this on a collective level. How appropriate that Mars, which co-rules Scorpio, would join in for the coup de grace. Powerful forces come to oppose them openly with this Mars opposition at their weakest moment with the Neptune square Saturn. All things considered, these are just some of the major players to watch at this passage of Mars square Neptune this coming weekend. Okay, in summary, I'm working towards my new goal of $100 per month, and I want to thank those who have contributed recently, including Tanya Johnson, Hannah Young, and Jenny B. Your donations are greatly appreciated, and thanks for understanding that I need to get compensated for my efforts. And I have a new idea to get folks more energized about donating. This month, I'm running a contest for a free natal reading. So everyone who contributes $5 or more this month is automatically entered to win. The 3 people that have already contributed are all automatically included. So with only 3 people so far, your chances of winning are much better than the lottery. But honestly, I've been getting a lot of good feedback lately. Even Robert Hand took a look at my channel and told me I'm doing a good job and to keep it up. That was really validating for me, and I'm encouraged to continue. I get no money in advertising because YouTube will not allow me to monetize this channel. I don't have enough subscribers for that yet. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so that I can try to monetize this channel. And of course, I should mention, as I announced last week, I'm running a special this month of February, only $85 for a natal or transit reading instead of the regular $120. You'll find donation buttons for Patreon and PayPal in the lower right-hand corner of the flower image on my channel homepage. And I'm also available for consultations on a regular monthly basis using astrology as a tool for life coaching, which is some of the most useful work that I do because the immediacy of the transit information can be put to use right away in your life. It's a practical way to apply astrology, and it's the same basic idea behind this channel. And in addition, I am a Reiki master now. I've been doing this for a few years, and it's something that I'm working with regularly these days. It's not just a hobby anymore. I do long-distance Reiki healings for a donation, and I'm currently working towards getting a certification that allows me to do Reiki in hospitals, something I'm really looking forward to, working towards that goal this year. So if you're interested in what Reiki can do for you, you want to explore the healing energy, or would like to get a long-distance healing, well, please contact me for astrology or Reiki at mobilestar7@yahoo.com or my weblog at tomsocalm.com, which is where I post the transcript of these weekly videos. So that's all this week for Weekly Astrology Notes. Thanks for viewing, liking, and sharing my video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Many blessings, and have a great day.